Nick was getting comfortable on the range, but comfort was dangerous. After endless PT, firefighter training, and an angry chief confronting him the day before, Nick was struggling to pay attention today. Exhaustion had crept in. He tried his best to recenter. He knew what one mistake could cost. Discipline wasn't just about endurance. It was about control. And losing it, even for a second, could end everything. Especially today. When the recruits walked in that afternoon, the range was silent in the way that made your ears ring. They stood shoulder to shoulder, boots planted, pistols gripped tightly, eyes forward. Fingers indexed. There was no room for nerves. Live rounds today, the instructor declared. Remember your form. Nick exhaled slowly, and settled into position. He'd done everything right so far, until he didn't. Picking up on Nick's nerves and sloppy setup, Instructor Addison behind the line snapped, "Thought you signed up for a cruise? This ain't Princess Caribbean. This is where boys become sailors or go back home to mama. You need to lock in, recruit." "Yes, instructor sir," Nick shouted. But as he loaded the pistol and adjusted his stance, the barrel of his pistol dipped for just a fraction of a second. And his finger was on the trigger. Not only that, it crossed the line. "Cease fire." The command cracked through the range like thunder. Every head snapped toward Nick. Instructors were already moving, boots stomping. He grabbed the pistol Nick was holding and forced it down. "Recruit Cole," he screamed. "Do you know what you just did?" "No, instructor, sir." Nick's throat went dry. "You pointed a loaded weapon down my gun range." His heart slammed against his ribs. He hadn't even realized. Instructor Addison continued. "This isn't running laps until your legs give out." He leaned in. "This mistake is how people die." The range stayed completely still. "Unload and step back, now." Nick obeyed, hands shaking as he cleared the weapon. Then, Instructor Phillip loudly warned, "You better tighten up, recruit. Mistakes are not allowed here. You do that again, you're going home. Got it?" The recruits all shifted uncomfortably. "Aye, sir." Nick stared straight ahead and sat back down as instructed. He expected punishment, drills. More screaming, maybe worse. Instead, Instructor Phillip said, "Stand down. You're done for the day." Nick sat on the edge of his chair. That scene replayed in his head most of the week. 1 second. That's all it took. He'd been so focused on keeping up, on proving he belonged, that he made a mistake that could have held heavy consequences. He didn't know it yet, but there would soon be one more deadly experience where he would be forced to prove himself. That weekend, Nick decided to go to Sunday service. Chapel wasn't mandatory, just recommended. Nick had enjoyed not going to church for the first time in his life, but after the week he'd had, he found himself missing home. Chapel meant sitting in a warm room without someone yelling. The chaplain was younger than Nick expected. A tired smile, an easy calm. The look of someone who listened more than he spoke. "Today, I'm supposed to talk to you about discipline and integrity," the chaplain started. "But honestly," he paused. "I want to talk about running." A murmur rippled through the room. "Not the kind you've been doing here," he added, and a few recruits chuckled. "The kind Jonah did when he ran from what God asked him to do." Nick's attention sharpened. The chaplain told the story simply. God called Jonah, but Jonah ran the other way. He fell off a ship in a mighty storm. A whale swallowed him up and delivered him to the exact place that God had told him to go. God gave Jonah a second chance. He did not give up on Jonah's calling and made sure he would accomplish the mission. "Some of you," the chaplain said gently, "think you came here to run away." He let the words settle. "From your town, from your past, maybe even from God." Nick shifted in the pew, eyes narrowing, heart beating a little faster. "But maybe," the chaplain continued, "this is where God plans to meet you instead." Nick swallowed. Run away? He hadn't thought of it like that. After the service, recruits filed out quietly. The chaplain walked around shaking hands with the congregation. When Nick reached him, the chaplain smiled. "What's your name, recruit?" "Cole, Nick Cole, sir." "Well, Nick," he said softly, "if you ever feel like you're in the belly of a whale, my office is open." Nick nodded, still untrusting. That night, during a rare 15 minutes of quiet, mail was handed out. Names echoed down the barracks. Santa. "I mean, recruit Cole." "Yes, petty officer," Nick responded. While catching 2 envelopes, he thought to himself, "Great, They're really not letting that nickname go. One letter was from home, his mom's handwriting, looping and familiar. The other made him pause. It was from Michaela, a girl from church with a messy bun who took notes nearly every sermon. He opened his mother's letter first. She wrote about ordinary things, the weather, Dad fixing the sink. At the bottom, she added, "I know it's hard. Remember what Pastor said, God calls ordinary people in ordinary moments. Don't assume he's silent just because you're tired. I love you, keep going, I know you can." Nick swallowed past the lump in his throat. Then he opened Michaela's. Her handwriting was small and careful. "Hey Nick, I know you're busy, so I'll keep this short. I just wanted you to know I'm praying for you. Lately, if I'm overwhelmed, I reflect on one verse from Hebrews. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. I like the idea that even when everything feels like it's moving, something can stay steady. I hope you feel that, even a little." Michaela, Nick stared at her words. He's heard that verse 100 times before. But this time it reminded him of firefighting training, and how he had to hold the line steady to keep everyone safe when the pressure hit the line. As he was rereading his letters, the wind howled against the barracks outside. Nick tucked both letters into his Bible, even though he still hadn't opened it beyond the first page. What he didn't know yet was that the mistake on the range, the words in the chapel, and the letters in his Bible, they were all pulling him toward the same truth and preparing him for something bigger than himself. Pressure doesn't just reveal weakness, it reveals what you're anchored to. Next time on The Quiet Warrior, Nick faces another test, one that doesn't measure aim, but character. Thanks for watching. If you're a veteran, service member, or have family members who have served, please comment below. If you are enjoying this story, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support helps keep The Quiet Warrior going. Stories with Heart and Honor by R.A. Hart.